Auricoin presents White Paper. Introduction. The participants of this project were inspired by what we believe was the philosophy of the creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, when expressing the following in the creation of the cryptocurrency. A purely electronic version of cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from an entity to another without having to go through a financial institution. Digital signatures provide part of the solution, but the main benefits are lost if there is a reliable third party to prevent double spending. We propose a solution to the problem of double spending using a user-to-user network. This small paragraph motivated them and aroused the necessary interest to initiate a very serious investigation of the blockchain technology, and they began to study its application in the crypto values, carried out innumerable studies, analyzed and recorded the behavior in the crypto market since 2010. Giving us a final result, they decided to present the current project that will solve three problems that they must face without delay for the good of humanity. The main objective of this project is to solve them, and they refer to credit, poverty, and inflation. The credit. When looking at the international financial system, it is important to consider what are the fundamental problems that the international banking and financial system currently has in terms of credit, since to the extent that these problems persist in the coming years, we must consider it to correct them. What do we want, or what we might want the international financial system, especially credit, to be in the coming decades? We want to start with a quick review of what is considered to be the most serious problems facing the financial system in terms of credit, many of which have already been mentioned in multiple world forums. Credit, regardless of whether we give it the character of a commodity as money has been treated, is an element within the social system that confers political and economic power. It is believed that the financial system, apart from channeling the savings of the surplus units to the deficit ones that demanded to invest it or to finance their consumption expenses, simultaneously transmits political and economic power. Apparently, this is a point that many have discussed and in some way or another perceive it correctly. With the management of credit and the instruments used in the financial system, an economic activity, people or factors of production can be encouraged or destroyed. It is a great power that can exist behind the control of credit. Therefore, it is considered that we should seek to create a financial system that satisfies the following general definition. For a truly competitive system to determine the allocation of credit, it must be the system of economic organization of the market instead of the states, since it has proven to be much more efficient as opposed to the centralized planning system. This coincides with what some have stated in relation to the transition from situations of great control in the decisions in the financial system by the central banks of the countries to a greater freedom for the financial ones, but the goal should be that the central bank dedicates itself to pointing out the global macroeconomic aspects, as economists call them, and letting the market take the microeconomic decision. The centralized planning system tends to favor credit being distributed based on political criteria, leading to inefficiencies. The most serious problems of the financial system can be summarized as an efficient system. Unlike many people, it is believed that the concept of efficiency involves the idea of value judgment. To know if something is efficient or not, it is necessary to have a rule of measurement which allows knowing how much is being lost or gained. Even the definition of whether an engine is efficient or not requires that one measure that efficiency to decide whether to consider the engine. There is always a value judgment, so it is believed that it is important to define a measurement rule in order to assess whether a system is efficient or inefficient. It is thought that the financial system is inefficient, and this is abridged in a very high intermediation margin. Unlike most of the people who have been heard discussing the issue, it is not believed that the placements of the bonds issued by the Ministries of Finance and the central banks of the countries maintain high passive interest rates. Interest rates are high on our planet because the margin of financial intermediation is very high. What are these high intermediation margins? There are very high interest rates on bank credit, which cause many productive activities and many investment projects which could generate income and employment are not carried out because they cannot pay those high rates. Although to say that they are very high is a value judgment, we measure them with reference to what it is to be paid to the saver to induce him to stop consuming, which is considerably less than what is charged on the credit, and this is due too much to the high legal requirements on bank deposits. If there were a policy to solve this problem, it would be necessary to finance the central banks, capitalize them, which would require decisions at the society level to establish more taxes or to lower public spending elsewhere, to transfer those resources to the central banks and allow them to lower the lace. In addition to the high reserve requirements, there are taxes that are charged on savings, on the interest of securities, which become part of the intermediation margin. There has also been a lot of discussion about the administrative costs of banking, which must be covered by means of a differential between lending and deposit rates. No study is yet known that demonstrates whether banks are efficient or not in the management of human and material resources, and although it is argued that they are inefficient, we reserve the issuance of criteria on this aspect. It would be interesting to know more studies. The above are important points to explain this inefficiency, that excessive cost of financial intermediation, but it is believed that the most important element is related to the power of economic and political authority that can give control of bank credit, and is in the delinquent portfolio of the state banks of each country. There are studies on the financial situation of state banks, some of which have followed the same route, in the sense that there have been times when state banks have been reluctant to provide information to those who have wanted to investigate the issue, although there are also cases in which they have provided it, and that allows some evidence to be had but not certain. These studies show that there are significant losses of income in banks for interest not collected on delinquent loans or for assets with yields lower than the current cost of the funds for these banks. This is reflected in the high cost of intermediation because state banks act in a similar way to what on other occasions has been raised, that is the reaction of the Ministries of Finance in tax matters. So many exonerations have been given in many taxes that are placed very high rates to charge a lot to the few who pay. In a much summarized way, this is one of the main problems facing banks and the financial system. The state bank is so important in terms of size that it dominates the system and transmits its inefficiency to the rest of the system. No matter how much the private bank is or not minimizing costs, the state bank fixes as parameters the levels of active and passive interest rates through competition and limitations on the size of the assets of the banks. They also have margins that make them inefficient, not because they necessarily waste resources, but because they charge rates that are not justified. In conclusion, this inefficiency is a kind of tax that the financial system places on all clients, some more than others, but it is a disguised tax that circumstances have forced to exist. Another problem of the financial system is that it is not designed to adequately deal with the intermediate level inflation that we have in each country for many years, and it is probably going to have to be bearded by several more. There are tax provisions in financial matters and practices that have made companies excessively dependent on financing through the issuance of obligations or liabilities, either through credit or through the issuance of investment certificates in the securities market, and for a great complexity of problems, little capital is used. In addition, inflation makes the market a short-term one, which prevents adequate financing of long-term projects. The problem of the reserve was mentioned, which is a tax disguised in the same way that current accounts do not pay interest. They are taxes because they provide cheap resources, and in the case of the central banks, they are used to indirectly finance their deficit, in the sense that in order not to go out to the market to do open market operations through stabilization bonds, the reserve requirements go up. Would the solution be to give resources to the central banks? On the other hand, it is believed that the state banks must be capitalized, like the central banks, to replace the capital they have lost for all those policies that have been imposed on them. Due to the system of state credit control, we must solve the problem of the decisions taken by banks or imposed externally, which has led to the problem of the delinquent portfolio. It is firmly believed that if state banks operated by generating a return on the resources they administer, that cost of capital in the economy would be reflected. These utilities of the state banks should be distributed through the national budget so that they are submitted to the political debate that we as a society have established and define if we want that income to be redistributed from one place to another or assigned to some group of society. It is not considered that the boards of directors of the banks are the ones that should have that power to redistribute. They should be required to generate a return that is distributed by the political system. However, will there be political consensus to achieve this? In the professional eye, there is no economic reason to say that deposits have to be a monopoly of the state bank, and this is said looking to the future, regardless of whether or not the argument that current laws prohibit the capture of deposits is valid by the private sector. These laws may also reflect the indecision of the legislators, who left open some ports who have not closed them and probably will not close them. There is no economic reason for the deposits to be only in state banks. The justification of that proposal falls in the ideological field. In the discussion on private and state banking, the most serious problem in the last aspect that all have observed is the politicization of decisions. One thinks that the discussion must be if the economic market or the political market is the one that must control and assign the credit. Nevertheless, state ownership of banks makes it very difficult to avoid political elements. What should be sought is how to avoid the politicization of decisions in the sense of using the allocation of credit to win votes, which is the most serious problem that state ownership of banks has. Do you think this will change? If very simple calculations are made in developing countries, With 6-month terms, the rate that is currently being paid is around 4 to 8% in dollars, which are levels very similar to those paid in financial markets. These rates correspond in reality to what has happened worldwide. When making calculations for long periods, apart from the fluctuations that may depend on whether or not one day the central banks or the national treasuries get money through the stabilization bonds on average, the differences have been 2 or 3 points, correction made of the devaluation. These are not very large differences for the risk that nations can take when investing in countries with high inflation rates that have a direct impact on the market. If the active interest rates are high in real terms, and in that it is very emphasized to maintain that the system is inefficient, that is, what is charged on credit and what it costs people to use the resources of savings through the banking system is extremely expensive, which directly affects the high cost of credit. Bank credit is expensive for the reasons stated, such as reserve requirements, taxes, and delinquent loans. These are the problems that have to be solved. Nobody believes that you can convince yourself that if these problems are solved, the problem of high interest rates will be solved, which has become the brake on the recovery or growth of the productive capacity of the countries. Now, the question is, will there be the political intention to do so? If you think about passing on to the state banks all the deposits that private financial and banking entities capture, it is considered that this supports the argument of the politicians, because people are not going to keep their money in a current account, because that they will have in those accounts will be only what they demand to give liquidity to their activities, since that liquidity has a high cost. In a world that is conceptually imagined, most of the resources will be invested in certificates of deposit in installments issued by state banks, so that people do not take their money abroad. State banks will have to pay those depositors 4 or 8% per year, and if the problem of reserve requirements, taxes on securities, and of the delinquent portfolio, it is going to end up anyway charging on the bank credit 9 to 12 annual percent. As long as these problems are not resolved and state banks are not given resources from the national budget to cover the excessive costs they incur, there really will not be a solution. Then it is believed that effectively giving the monopoly of deposits to state banks would lead to a drop in interest rates. This could lead to a wrong economic analysis. The problem is that credit is politicized, tied to high interest rates and many cumbersome paperwork, where both the already formed companies and the new innovative projects have no access to credit to be able to develop them, since they must deal with high interest rates, interests, innumerable paperwork, high rates of inflation, and are always going to be handled politically, as decided by the vision and personal interest of the politician of each country. Poverty. We begin by informing you that 50% of the people living in poverty today are under 18, according to the latest estimates of the Global Multidimensional Poverty Index 2018 (MPI), published by the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP) and the Oxford Initiative on Poverty and Human Development (OPHI). These data show that in 104 countries, predominantly of medium and low income, 662 million children are considered multidimensionally poor. In 35 of these countries, half of all their children are poor. The Multidimensional Poverty Index of 2018 looks beyond monetary income and shows how poverty is the experience of facing multiple and simultaneous shortages. The MPI analyzes how people are falling behind in the field of health, education, and living standards, with deficiencies such as lack of access to drinking water, sanitation, adequate nutrition, or primary education. Those who are deprived of at least one-third of the MPI components are classified as multidimensionally poor. The figures for 2018, which are now closely aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals, cover almost 3/4 of the world's population. Latest figures show a clear image of all those who have been left behind in the development. Approximately 1.3 billion people live in multidimensional poverty, which represents almost 1/4 of the population of the 104 countries for which the MPI of 2018 is calculated. Of these 1.3 billion, almost half, 46%, live in severe poverty and suffer deficiencies in at least half of the dimensions covered by the MPI. The Multidimensional Poverty Index provides vital information on how people experience poverty and provides a new perspective on the scale and nature of global poverty. 83% of people in multidimensional poverty live in the sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. Multidimensional poverty occurs in all developing regions of the world, but it is particularly serious and significant in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. In sub-Saharan Africa, for example, some 560 million people, 58% of the region's population, live in multidimensional poverty. Of these, 342 million, 61% of the multidimensionally poor, live in severe poverty. Meanwhile, in South Asia, 546 million people, 31% of the population, are multidimensionally poor, of whom 200 million, 37%, suffer severe poverty. The figures for the rest of the regions are less severe and range from 19% of the population living in multidimensional poverty in the Arab states, and 2% of those living in Europe and Central Asia. The MPI for 2018 has been calculated for 1,101 subnational regions that show variations in multidimensional poverty levels for 87 countries. The vast majority, 1,100 million, of the multidimensionally poor people all over the world live in rural areas. The multidimensional poverty rate in rural areas is 36%, 4 times higher than that of people living in urban areas. Traditional poverty measures, often estimated through the number of people earning less than $1.90 per day, shed light on their limited income, but not on whether or not they experience and in what way poverty in their daily lives. The MPI provides a complementary picture of poverty and how it affects people around the world. The Sustainable Development Goals call for the eradication of poverty in all its forms and in all places. The Multidimensional Poverty Index responds to this call, providing immensely valuable information for all those who seek to understand how poverty manifests itself in a place or for a determined group of people, and for those who work in designing policies that seek to help people escape poverty now and in the future, said Selim Jahan, director of the UNDP Human Development Report Office. While the MPI data looks mainly at the poor, and within them, the subset of those living in severe poverty, the figures also identify those at risk. These people, although not considered multidimensionally poor, live in precarious conditions, struggling to stay above the poverty line. The data show that in addition to the 1.3 billion people identified as poor, another 879 million people risk falling into multidimensional poverty, something that can happen quickly because of conflicts, diseases, droughts, unemployment, and other crises. Inflation. This causes serious distortions in the functioning of the economic system due to its unpredictability. If the data and the amount of the price increase of each of the products could be predicted with absolute accuracy, the only harm would come from the work of correcting labels or menus. The problems caused by inflation derive precisely from its unpredictability, since neither all the products nor all the factors will raise their prices at the same time or in the same proportion. Moreover, the higher the inflation rate, the wider the margin of error in the expectations of economic agents, and therefore the greater the feeling of insecurity. Prices are a way by which the necessary information is transmitted so that consumers decide correctly that they should acquire and for companies to calculate what and how much they should produce. If prices are constantly changing, they stop fulfilling their informative function. Consumers will be unable to know if one supermarket has lower prices than other does. Supermarkets will lose the incentive to keep prices low and will be unable to predict the effects on demand of a higher or lower price rise. The effects of inflation on the distribution of income consist essentially of the shift of wealth from creditors to debtors. The individual who loaned money will observe when he recovers it that what he perceives has less purchasing power than when he lent it. Savers are punished with the loss of value of their funds. In general, all fixed income recipients, retirees, pensioners, rentiers who own fixed income securities, owners of rental housing with non-indexed contracts will see their purchasing power reduced. The state will also increase its tax revenues. When taxes are proportional or progressive, tax rates will be taxing smaller income in real terms. In addition, the number of families that receive exempt income will be reduced. On the other hand, inflation acts as a hidden tax. If, for example, the central bank puts into circulation bills that, after 1 year, have reduced their value by 25%, those who have been in possession of those notes during a year, they will have suffered a forced collection of a quarter of their funds in cash. Others benefited by this tax, in addition to the issuing bank, are all banks that participate in the process of creating money. The increased risk will cause an increase in the cost of money. The interest rates to which the money will be lent must increase the usual remuneration for two concepts: the need to cover the depreciation of the principal and the risk for not being able to accurately forecast that depreciation. The investment will be discouraged for many reasons. In addition to the increase in interest rates, the entrepreneur will find additional difficulties to foresee the benefits of his activity due to the insecurity in the future prices of the factors, the intermediate products and the final products. Problem solution. The analysis of these complex issues need a real solution, and that this solution benefits all humanity without distinction of classes, creeds, races, or geographical locations. People also took that it as a sense of belonging that was not seen as a threat to any person or company regardless of the social class that belongs. These three main problems due to their economic basis are directly related to the scarcity of resources and the unlimited needs. Hence, their solution leads to a decision-making. Faced with the scarce resources available, humanity has opted for subsistence, security, and war as a means to achieve the basic objective of survival. Modern, complex, and organized societies have not managed to overcome technological limitations, let alone repress human needs. The many alternatives offered today to modern societies, far from eliminating the problem of options, may have complicated it and led contemporary economists to predict that such problems will be increasingly serious. For these reasons, we propose complete solutions and those attack the root problem. The necessary tools will be created to correct these imbalances and achieve a more just, more humane, and therefore happier society. Auricoin will create a decentralized platform where you can find the solutions that will correct the inefficiency of the current economy for the benefit of the world population. Now, we present the three solutions that we are sure that together will solve the inefficiency of the current world economy. As a first step, we propose the creation of a token and in 2 years convert it into a cryptocurrency. The granting of credit with low interest rates with a grace period according to the productive unit where it is invested that ranges from 3 to 20 years with interest rates of 0.10% to 1% per year and payment periods of 1 to 10 years. The creation of a robust corporate portfolio aimed at the productive sector and the importing and exporting sector. Auricoin design. We present you to Auricoin, the world's only cryptocurrency, which we will promote to be used by the entire world population, such as payment method, savings mechanism, and investment method. Why a common cryptocurrency? An economic and monetary union of Auricoin, RIC, is a recurrent ambition for humanity from the end of 2010. The creators of Auricoin conduct studies of an economic policy, a common monetary policy, and a common cryptocurrency, Auricoin RIC. A single cryptocurrency offers many advantages. It facilitates cross-border trade for businesses. The economy becomes more stable and consumers have more options and opportunities. Creation and design. Name: Auricoin. The noun auri is taken from the meaning of gold in the Latin language, and the word coin comes from the English language meaning currency. The union of these two words forms the name of Auricoin, whose meaning is gold currency. Design of the cryptocurrency. Union of humanity. Union of the Auricoin community. Union of the creators of Auricoin. Protection for humanity. Drop of gold. Gold. Gold currency. Symbol. The name Auricoin was chosen in 2010 at a meeting of the team that created the project. The symbol is based on the meaning that in Latin was given to gold, radiant dawn, and the line of half means economic stability. The code for Auricoin is RIC. This is used when referring to quantities in Auricoin without using the symbol. Rules. The name must be the same in all the languages of the world, taking into account the different alphabets. Multiple forms are accepted, provided they do not change the root rig. Other spellings are accepted in legal texts that do not belong to the Auricoin community. During the global adoption process of Auricoin, users will be prepared to place the goods and services they provide at a value of 888.88 American dollars of the purchasing power of the US dollar on November 23, 2018. For each Auricoin rig, this price is unchangeable. This process will be carried out in a 10-year period in which both Auricoin and the other cryptocurrencies and fiat currencies can circulate together. During this period, the retailers and the ambassadors help to educate the population to know and adopt Auricoin. The benefits of Auricoin are diverse, and citizens, businesses, and economies as a whole will perceive these benefits in different degrees. Among these advantages include greater choice and more stable prices for consumers and citizens, more security and more opportunities for companies and markets, greater stability and economic growth, more integrated financial markets, Auricoin's greater weight in the world economy, tangible sign of the identity of humanity, the elimination of inflation. Many of these advantages are interrelated. They are of benefit to citizens in the form of higher volumes of employment and higher quality jobs. How will these advantages of Auricoin manifest themselves? The single currency provides new opportunities derived from the integration and scale of the world's economy, which increases the efficiency of a single market. The possibility of easily comparing prices stimulates cross-border trade and investment for all economic agents, from consumers who are looking for products at the lowest cost, through companies that acquire more profitable services, to large institutional investors who they can invest more efficiently anywhere in the world without bearing the risk of fluctuating exchange rates. In the world of Auricoin, there will be a large integrated market in which the same cryptocurrency will be used. Obtaining the advantages. Auricoin does not provide stability and economic growth on its own. This is achieved in the first place with an adoption by all humanity of the cryptocurrency, producing and accepting it as an exchange currency for goods and services. Secondly, as a fundamental mechanism to intensify the advantages of the single market, of commercial policy, and of cooperation on the part of the community. Auricoin will be a primordial component of the economic, social, and political structures of all humanity. Auricoin rig will bring enormous benefits for those who are in this new world, which will favor three large groups: to the countries, to the companies, and to the citizens. The benefits include the following: a high degree of price stability, greater transparency of prices, no fluctuations in the exchange rate between members who use it, a greater security of the cryptocurrency plus investment. A unified market captures more investment. Greater investment brings more economic activity and more employment. Attracts more integrated financial markets. Eliminate transaction costs among members who adopt it, which include: eliminates exchange rate fluctuations, eliminates cross-border payments in fiat currency which involve high costs, eliminates the need to keep several accounts in currencies that make the management of accounts more complicated. Other benefits that may be considered include the following. The value of Auricoin remains unchanged, benefiting those who travel and companies that have to trade abroad. The value of Auricoin remains strong and therefore tends to eliminate inflation, excellent for the economy. The most stable and non-inflationary cryptocurrency results in lower interest rates and facilitates economic mobility. Develop greater access to a broader capital base. Among its advantages, the following stand out because of its importance. It is a stable cryptocurrency since it is not subject to depreciation, and this allows both inflation and interest rates to be lower, and when integrated into the single market, there is more transparency in the prices. In addition, it allows the elimination of costs associated with currency exchange when citizens travel from one country to another, and will allow financial markets to integrate more quickly. In short, with the single currency, humanity will achieve a more efficient economy, greater ease of international trade, greater production of goods and services. No less important, that it becomes the tangible symbol of the identity of humanity. Consumers benefit from Auricoin because there is more competition and ease to buy in other countries, because it has stabilized prices controlling inflation, because loans have been obtained more easily and economically, or because producing is also cheaper and simpler. Companies benefit because the lower interest rates allow them to make more investments, since price stability encourages longer-term planning due to the reduction of business risks. Cross-border trade has been promoted because of the elimination of the cost of exchanging currencies has stimulated trade and investment. It will also benefit the states themselves because the elimination of inflation and interest rates will reduce public debt and favor social cohesion by promoting sound public finances, ensuring the sustainability of the welfare state. Finally, humanity itself is the great beneficiary of increasing financial integration and the great strengthening of international trade. In short, Auricoin will surely be the best of the tangible symbols of the identity and common values of humanity. With the issuance of this cryptocurrency, who adopts it gets rid of inflation and economic recession, thus solving one of the problems raised at the beginning of this document. The referential price of the Auricoin cryptocurrency, RIC, is 1 RIC equals 888.88 American dollars. This price is irremovable to the purchasing power of the US dollar on November 23, 2018. The credit. The blockchain technology helps us to build more securely a broad, decentralized, robust, and reliable cryptoactive investment portfolio, which efficiently covers current credit deficiencies, managing all three sectors of the economy, such as primary sector, agricultural and industrial, the manufacturing sector, and finally, the commercial sector. As such, Auricoin RIC has the potential to disrupt the current approach to credit, international trade, and international transactions. With our initiative, we are investing in the future, and we will become, in a short time, the most important blockchain investment cryptocurrency system. In this way, the blockchain allows a new form of transaction in which the value consists of that which occurs at the end of the transaction and not only the monetary value that is deposited in a certain account. In contrast to financial markets, An unlimited number of valuable items are exchanged in this unregulated market. In addition, transactions are more distributed, decentralized, and capable of generating other actions in the real world. We will create new forms of value. As often happens with the incorporation of new technologies, we start replicating the same processes, now more quickly and efficiently. Then he innovates doing things differently and applying new ideas that have not been tried before. With the blockchain technology, new value-generating services can be developed. A new ecosystem is created that will be strengthened and consolidated. Now, these services seem to be grouped in this way. We will base them on the truthfulness and trust provided by the information stored in the chain, identity, ownership and ownership rights, registrations, content authorship, permits, and export declarations. Those who rely on contracts executed in the chain, custody of securities and trust, proof of delivery, and compliance with regulations. Decentralized international markets for services managed by participants and without intermediaries. The decentralized autonomous organizations whose government and operations are managed through a chain of blocks. All these services are characterized by growing without central control and being promoted by the incentives of the cryptocurrency, which are partly earned as quotas and partly as compensation for the participants and the providers of those services. It is in this way that value is generated in this new economy. We are in the implementation of a new system of distribution and creation of value, away from the traditional rules that regulated the transfer and financial documents, such as credit agreements, letters of credit, standby letter of credit, payment orders, etc., where Auricoin will take the lead. To solve the problem of credit with Auricoin, cryptocurrency loans will be granted with the best market conditions, direct and without intermediation, with interest rates of 0.10% to 1% per year, payment periods of 1 to 10 years, and with grace periods of 3 to 20 years. These grace periods were defined based on two fundamental aspects. First, this period was taken into account for a fundamental aspect that consists in the time necessary for Auricoin to be adopted by the people and accepted as a means of payment by the agricultural and industrial producers, manufacturers, and merchants who receive the Auricoin credits and/or those who want to adopt the Auricoin cryptocurrency as a means of payment. Second, because of the size and the need for the time in which the project is developed, we will grant financing and investment options with lower costs and better conditions than those of the traditional financial system. Credits for the agro-industrial and industrial producer, the manufacturer, and the commercial. Financing is a very important tool. The best conditions of access to financing for companies can be translated, among other things, into increases in production, in increases in technological innovation, and in a greater probability of entering and surviving in international markets. A developed agricultural sector is extremely important for Auricoins, since it contributes to improving the health of its citizens by regularly nurturing itself, ensuring jobs for the people, growth of industries, adequate access to the raw materials they need, and strengthening the economy of a country. Auricoin grants a great variety of credits for this sector. In this way, regular agricultural production is guaranteed. Auricoin cares for the family and provides an interesting personal credit portfolio in the best possible conditions, since it will be the way to reach your goals or can help you in a difficult moment or in the case of an unexpected event. Also, through the platform, it will connect people or companies that need financing with those who have savings and want to invest them. In this platform, you will get the possibility of receiving or granting credits of equal to equal. It will join the lender with the borrower, which will establish the contractual terms of the loan directly and without any intermediation. People and companies that invest in people and companies. Those from anywhere in the world have savings, can grant credit to other people or companies that request financing. Users can invest or ask for direct credit without any intermediation. Why do it with us? Because our ultimate goal is to achieve the democratization of credit and get it to reach those who request it in an expeditious and direct way, eliminating intermediation. Our objective is that the credit reaches the market at an interest rate that does not exceed 1% per year, and for small agricultural and manufacturing producers of 0.10% per year. How to request the credits granted by Auricoin? Register with your email and complete the online application with the amount you need, the grace period and the summary of your investment. Resume the maximum investment project in 2 letter-size sheets. Send the documents by email to credit@auricoin.org and in less than 24 hours you will be answered. The smart contract is issued and in less than 24 hours the cryptocurrencies are deposited in your wallet. Requirements to apply for credit. Natural person. Identification document. Public service receipt. Water, electricity, bank document, etc. Adult. Requirements to apply for credit. Legal person. Identification document of the legal representative. Public service receipt from the legal representative. Constitutive act. Tax information registry. Public service receipt. Water, electricity, bank document, etc. Do you want to invest? Invest in people or companies. Acquire investment experience with only 1,125 Auricoin RIC, referential to 1,000 American dollars. You choose to whom you grant the credit. You get return to short, medium or long term. You decide. In your wallet, you deposit the interest according to the guidelines. The smart contract is made using the blockchain technology. How does it work? Choose how much you want to invest and the risk you are willing to take. Collect your interest and principal according to the agreement that has arrived with the applicant. Analyze. Study the information of the published applications to choose in which person or company you will invest. Invest. Study how much you are going to invest in the selected applications. Order the smart contract, which you have agreed with the borrower. Remember that you must have the resources in your wallet available for investment. Your profits. Cash your interest according to the agreement you have made with the borrower. Requirements to invest. Investors through the platform with their savings can support other people to achieve their dreams and obtain profitability with the minimum amount of only 1,125 Auricoin RIC, referential to 1,000 American dollars. Register with your email and password. Fill out in a clear way your investor profile with your data on the platform. Fill in your affidavit of the origin of your capital well. They will generate positive social impact. Individuals or companies that wish to participate can build their investment portfolio by type of application, commit to a cause, and invest so that others can also improve their quality of life at reasonable costs. so that you can decide how to invest. Auricoin will put at your disposal the study of each person and company according to the information provided and assign them a credit profile from A+, lower risk, to E, higher risk. Letters of credit. Types of letters of credit found on the platform to expedite international trade based on smart contracts issued through blockchain technology. Direct. In this case, payments can only be made to the beneficiaries named in the document and cannot involve third parties, either people or other institutions. Irrevocable. These letters cannot be revoked without the consent of the sellers for any part. In this case, payments can only be made to the beneficiaries named in the document and cannot involve third parties, either people or other institutions. Revocable. These can be revocable without prior notice by the buyer, because it was a prior agreement in the contract between the seller and the buyer. Transferable. This allows the beneficiary to assign all of the available credit to someone else, so a second beneficiary is created and the contract then refers to the person concerned as the first beneficiary. Standby. This is a more flexible option for both the buyer and the seller, as it ensures that the payment is made despite the occurrence of some type of unforeseen event. Once the beneficiary verifies that it was not fulfilled, it becomes effective. Rotary. It is used when you plan to make several payments or businesses continuously, but taking into account that, when establishing the conditions, the time periods that the people involved have to consider are also made. LC at sight. In this case, the payments are made just after submitting the relevant documentation and usually within a period of no more than 12 hours. Back to back. Two letters are involved where the first establishes a second one, where the buyer presents the second credit contract and which was requested by instructions of the person who requested the first loan. Red clause. It bears this name because it is usually shown with this color in the document to make it clear that an advance in the commitment is requested. The favored persons can receive funds or merchandise in advance, as long as it is indicated in the red clause. What is received as an advance is deducted at the end of the total credit. Deferred. In this case, despite presenting the documents proving the payment, this is not done immediately, and you have to wait for a period established from the beginning in the contract. Import and export. Also called commercial. It is used for compliance with international treaties. In this sense, if the exporter issues the letter, it is an export, and if the importer issues it, it is an import. The blockchain boom is based in part on the use of smart contracts and IoT, Internet of Things. Smart contracts do not require interpretation or human intervention to be carried out. They can be performed automatically when running a computer program. One of these applications are the autonomous agents, computer programs created for a specific task. In this case, it would be a task prior to the shipment of the merchandise, whether through land, air, or sea, to be connected to the internet, speak through language M2M, machine to machine, with other devices, and would request an order opening of the state of the negotiated asset. The system would be capable, once the production of the good or raw material was reviewed, the anomaly, if any, would assess the urgency of the availability of the merchandise or raw material. The existence of the merchandise in storage, among other variables, prioritize the queue of tasks and assign appointment before or after to proceed with the dispatch of the same. So far, no human communication has been produced. Once the system sends the merchandise or raw material, the notice of shipment with date and time is issued. When the acquired good is loaded, it will be shown, for example, through a notification on the dashboard or by a message in your smartphone. The seller would leave the merchandise in the hands of the shipping company. Once the shipping company takes charge of the acquired good, a connection between machines is produced and the resulting work order in the cloud is generated. This automatically arrives to the device that the transporting company has assigned and begins the transportation itself. Then, the system will notify the buyer in what state his order is. When the BL is issued, which will be issued online and through blockchain, the payment could be made immediately. With cryptocurrency, digital exchange medium. In conclusion, these are the benefits of the blockchain and the smart contracts in the issuance of letters of credit that can be used in the Auricoin platform. Transparency. At all times, we know the status of the acquired good before, during, and after the dispatch. Security. The data and the information are safe, and we have the certainty that the agreed dispatches have been made at the right time. Optimization. Resources are scarce, and the need to maximize them is imperative. We are spending what is necessary in the acquired good and at the precise moment. Management. We are optimizing resources with the intervention of technology. On the one hand, we are discongesting people who previously did those repetitive and sometimes cumbersome tasks, and on the other hand, we are delegating to machines that understand each other, with which we manage resources better, and we can even minimize the failure that sometimes caused the repetitive tasks. Quality. By not relying so much on reckless price decreases and then being able to award contracts, we rely more on quality levels. We will be closer to what is being pursued and always achieve excellence in service. With these financial instruments, we will give a very positive turn to the crypto world, and we will serve a very important sector of the global economy. Corporate portfolio. In Auricoin, the producer and industrialist can find a very robust corporate portfolio, which will support the industrial, producer, importer and exporter, the development and global growth. We have prepared for this sector in our platform a series of financial services never before seen in the crypto world. In Auricoin, you will find better execution in the negotiation of crypto actives. Auricoin allows the electronic commerce of the cryptocurrencies that dot the market for its clients. We cover all areas of the market, from small to large market capitalizations. Our commercial team offers direct access to individual exchanges. When instructed to sell or buy a cryptocurrency or token, it is our responsibility to find the best terms available at the time of execution. In doing so, we consider several factors, such as the market for this cryptocurrency or token, the nature of the transaction in question and its volume, the availability of the offer and the potential for price appreciation, the terms of the order in question, and the amount of audited markets. Auricoin also regularly evaluates the overall quality of the cryptocurrency or token market, orders to guarantee the best possible transaction. Use of debt, equity. Debt capital is a complex and versatile tool in the investment kit, and we are expert in using it. We structure and execute a variety of transactions, including cryptocurrency issues and derivative transactions, ICOs, all in order to increase the potential return on your investments. Get advice and suggestions from our structuring professionals on whether it makes sense to use these tools as part of your corporate portfolio. Trading. Investments in cryptocurrencies and ICOs give you the opportunity to increase wealth and achieve your financial goals. At Auricoin, we understand how complex the world of cryptoactive trade is. We provide comprehensive strategies for the processing and execution of cryptocurrency operations throughout the world. If you are a small business owner who wants to start only with cryptocurrencies and ICOs, who wants to expand assets of your small, medium or large company, Auricoin helps you navigate among all available options and opportunities. Syndicalization. Some transactions and projects are too big to risk with a single entity. Through our unionization services, we can pool resources from several exchanges to share the risks involved in high-value transactions. This gives you access to a diverse group of adequate resources for different aspects of your business. Forfeiting. High rewards require high risks, but with our forfeiting services, you can minimize the risk associated with high-value international trade transactions. These will allow you to receive immediate payments for accounts receivable in the medium term with a discount with no possibility of payment. Auricoin as a forfeiter acts as an intermediate entity that buys accounts receivable. The importer will have to pay the forfeiter to claim the goods. This ensures a faster cash flow towards its end, while eliminating the risk of default by the importer. Structured commercial financing solutions. Its flows of high-value commodities are no less important than the top priority of Auricoin's structured trade financing department. You can expect us to be there every step of the way, from financing inventories to financing processes, as well as requesting pre-export financing. With easier access to financing terms, you can optimize and diversify your financing opportunities while guaranteeing strategic acquisitions. Cryptocurrency guarantees and standby letters of credit. Your peace of mind matters, especially when your money crosses global borders. Protect your business from unexpected interruptions in international trade through the guarantees of Auricoin, standby letters of credit, or the cryptocurrency required by your supplier. These can be according to your contingency measures in case of sudden cash flow problems at your end. It also guarantees that your losses are minimized in case your suppliers cannot comply with the terms of their transactions. Get a cryptocurrency guarantee for your next big transaction. Global solutions for specific needs. Classic trade flow products including letters of credit, standby letters of credit in cryptocurrency, structured commerce and export finance, structured finance of commodity trading, and exchange of trading partners. These negotiable instruments offer nothing less than transparent and safe payments for international trade activities. With a letter of credit from Auricoin, you will guarantee the release of payments to your suppliers as soon as certain conditions are met. For amounts of up to several hundred million cryptocurrencies that you have and that are accepted by the seller, can be BTC, ETH, RIG, etc. The franchises. The system that Auricoin will use for its expansion will be carried out through strategic partnerships with the delivery of franchises in the countries that are detailed on our website www.auricoin.org. This model is the most appropriate for the expansion that you want to achieve since it guarantees that the people who are in charge of Auricoin in each country know their language, laws, culture and customs. We will be able to unite 51 countries of the globe in a single platform in the period of 24 months after achieving this first phase. We will expand with this same business model for the 143 remaining countries, and thus Auricoin will be closer to the client. This type of business represents a model that represents simplicity in the constitution of the business. Reach that simplicity through a safe investment. As in any commercial agreement, there is a contract involved. The know-how is transmitted in the business manuals that the franchisor gives to the franchisee. The charges that Auricoin will establish to deliver its advantages and services is a percentage of the sales volume of the operations carried out by the franchisee. Conclusion. This project, as it is conceived, will benefit all humanity, without distinction of social classes, creeds, races, much less political philosophies, since we'll be able to eliminate the inflation. It will have the potential to eliminate world hunger. It will reduce the social gap. It will eliminate the global economic recession. With the adoption of Auricoin by all humanity, the production of goods and services in the world will increase, with higher production, better prices, and better prices mean greater benefits for the world, and everyone will have the opportunity to acquire them. As such, Auricoin has the potential to increase GDP, which differentiates us completely from the other cryptocurrencies that exist in the market today, since Auricoin does not promote only the economic sector of trade. If not, it goes further, attending to the three productive branches of the economy, such as primary and industrial production sector, secondary manufacturing, and of course, the commercial sector. The Auricoin project will achieve lower global crime rate by 80%, global unemployment rate at 98%, world emigration by 80%, eliminate 100% inflation, eliminate hunger in the world 100%. It will reduce the social gap 98%, eliminate the global economic recession 100%. Auricoin was created for humanity and is its heritage. Token Auricoin RIC. The Auricoin team will generate through a smart Ethereum contract according to the ERC20 standard the token Auricoin RIC. All portfolios that support Ether, including My Ether Wallet, MetaMask, Parity, Mist, IMToken, and Ethereum Wallet, support tokens compatible with ERC20. Function of the token. The Auricoin token provides a system for the direct transfer of assets that is established almost in real time and is a cheaper, transparent, and secure alternative to the transfer systems and financial guarantees currently used. The main objective of Auricoin is to move a large amount of money into new financial assets around the world faster and more efficiently. The tokens that comply with the requirements of the mosaic on the standard of the chain of blocks of Ethereum are non-mineable digital tokens that are issued in their entirety through a smart contract on said platform. Auricoin guarantees that it will use and accept the token to grant credits, issue letters of credit, issue financial documents of value, receive the payments of the credits, receive the payments of the letters of credit. It will also accept the token to receive the interest generated by the credits as a form of payment on your platform. The fees, commissions, advertising, commissions of use of the platform, and payment of licenses issued by Auricoin for the use of its platform to other companies or individuals will be charged in the Ether cryptocurrency for 2 years, this until the Auricoin blockchain platform is initiated. Tokens issue information. Issue 100 billion Auricoin RIC. New tokens emissions. Yes. Divisibility. Auricoin will be pre-mined and will be divisible into 100 million units. The minimum unit of exchange will be called RIC 0.00000001. Facets. Exchange medium. It can be used to acquire goods or services, financial documents, and it can be exchanged for fiduciary money and other crypto assets or cryptocurrencies through digital exchange houses that accept it. Platform. It could exercise the functions of a digital representation of merchandise and/or raw materials, e-commodity, and it will serve as scaffolding to create other digital instruments oriented to trade and finance. Savings and investment instrument. Its stable value will encourage its use as means of exchange, reserve of value, and financial investment. Public offer. Before the public sale, the 100 billion tokens of the issue will be pre-mined in the blockchain Ethereum. Public sale. Sale price $888.88 American dollars. Total Auricoins RICs available for public sale 100 billion RICs. Start date and time November 23rd, 2018 at 8:30 a.m. Liechtenstein time. Closing date, no closing date. Process description. As previously explained, the token of the Ethereum blockchain will have an immutable offer. It will be pre-mined. On the day of the start of the public sale at 8:30 a.m. Liechtenstein time, the amount of 100 million tokens, 100 million RICs, will be placed on sale. This public offer guarantees Auricoin the total collection of funds corresponding to the sale of all Auricoins available for public sale, 100 billion RIC, to be invested in the project as described below. Parameters of the sale of tokens. Dates 11/23, 2018, 8:30 GMT. Token standard Ethereum ERC20. Minimum capital 30 million American dollars. Maximum capital no limit. Price of one token Auricoin 188.88 American dollars. Personal capital minimum maximum 0.010 RIC or equivalent, unlimited. Accepted purchase methods: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Dash, ETH Classic, Fiat Coins. Whitelist: no. Advanced sale or private sale not held. Know your client, KYC. Yes, to receive the Auricoin tokens purchased in Ethereum's personal wallets, each participant must provide their personal data at any time from the first day of the sale of tokens. Auricoin RIC. Distribution of funds. 78% funds intended to support the Auricoin project. 10% Auricoin project. Funds destined to technological developments and promotion. 5% development of the ecosystem. Funds for the promotion of applications within the Auricoin ecosystem that will be proposed. 5% technological development. Funds destined to investments in technologies, infrastructures, and projects that contribute to the economic advance of Auricoin. 2% will be distributed among the project participants. Percentage of discount on sales. From November 23, 2018 to December 31, 2018, 20%. From January 1st, 2019 to January 31st, 2019, 15%. From February 1st, 2019 to February 28th, 2019, 10%. From March 1st, 2019 to March 20th, 2019, 5%. Minimum sale 0.00112501 ricos, which is equivalent to $1. Maximum sale without limit. All persons or companies that purchase the Auricoin White token before March 20th, 2019 will have the advantage of acquiring credits with lower interest rates and better time lapses to cancel. Eligibility of the awardee and conformity with KYC AML. All rounds will strictly follow the KYC Know Your Customer and AML anti-money laundering policies. Constant demand growth. No advance sale is celebrated. We have not yet made an advance sale. We have consciously abstained from conducting these first rounds of token sales that would result in a distribution of priority rights and significant bonuses and discounts. Instead, we offer the same conditions to all participants in the token sale, which will result in a more stable token value when included in the cryptocurrency exchange sites. Advantages of the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum is a digital platform that adopts the blockchain technology established by Bitcoin and expands its use to a wide variety of applications. It should not be confused with Ether, the underlying cryptocurrency of the network, which is also usually called Ethereum. The Ethereum platform was created in 2015 by the programmer Vitalik Buterin, with the perspective of creating an instrument for decentralized and collaborative applications. Ether, ETH, is a token that can be used in transactions that use this software. As Bitcoin, Ether exists as part of an autonomous financial system of peers, free of government intervention. Therefore, although this is only one of hundreds of cryptocurrencies, it is also one of the few that have a significant market capitalization, along with its two major rivals, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. The principles behind the use of Turing language ensures the versatility of its functions. Due to its complete and sophisticated blockchain, complex contracts can be executed without needing the service of third parties in most cases. In short, a complete package. It is a platform for other products, which gives it great strength, since every day the information is improved. What makes it a network that works facilitating the input and contribution to the developers. It is a roadmap designed to remain for many years, allowing the community to know what to expect in the coming years, especially for offering continuous improvements. Auricoin will be on this platform with its token until November 22nd of the year 2020, and then it will migrate to its own blockchain.